Scarlets lifted the final Pro12 title last season, who will go on to clinch the inaugural Pro14. The Pro14 will create rugby union history this week as the first ever global club league gets underway, live on Sky Sports. The inclusion of South African duo, the Cheetahs and Southern Kings, has given way to a new league structure of two 7-team conferences, evenly split between the 5 nations involved. We've already taken a look at each team in Conference A, now it's the turn of Conference B, which includes last season's champions Scarlets. Scarlets last season third and champions best finished champions 200,304, 201,617. What's hot? They head into the new season as defending champions, having played some breathtaking attacking rugby. Steph Evans and Reece Patchell will look to kick on after superb individual campaigns last season, and at 22 and 24 years old respectively, there is ample scope for them to continue improving. The marquee signing of Lee Halfpenny from Toulon looks a shrewd purchase. Wales fullback Lee Halfpenny has joined the Scarlets from Toulon. What's not? The losses of Liam Williams to Saracens and DTH van der Merwe to Newcastle Falcons. Both have been major attacking threats for the region in recent years, and their exits are sure to be keenly felt, particularly Williams, who enjoyed an eye-catching Lions tour. What's changed? Can they replicate their performance of last season? They will be the team to beat this season, with sides keen to shut them down and suss them out. In terms of transfers, the headline changes are the departures of Williams and van der Merwe, while Wales internationals Halfpenny and Tom Priddy and Australian Sevens international Paul Asquith are among the new arrivals. The exit of Wales and Lions back 3-man Liam Williams to Saracens is a blow. Lee Halfpenny Toulon, Paul Asquith Australia Western Sydney Rams, Tom Priddy Dragons, Geraint Rees-Jones Dragons, Tom Grabham Ospreys, Morgan Williams Wales Sevens. Out Liam Williams Saracens, DTH van der Merwe Newcastle Falcons, Rainier Bernardo Cheetahs, Peter Edwards Merthyr RFC, Aled Thomas retired, Morgan Allen Bedwis RFC, Gareth Owen Leicester Tigers, Richard Smith Neath RFC, Leinster last season second and semi-finals Bliss finished champions 200,102, 200,708, 201,213, 201,314. What's hot heading into the season? Leinster undoubtedly have the strongest squad in terms of depth, with most positions 2 or 3 deep with internationals. Ex-England head coach Stuart Lancaster had a big impact when joining the coaching setup last season, and has remained in Dublin, while their 2 signings in Scott Fardy and James Lowe from Super Rugby look like masterstrokes. Leinster's signing of Chiefs winger James Lowe looks like being one of the captures of the close season. What's not? For all their top players, Leinster underachieved last year in losing 2 semi-finals, one of which was at home to Scarlets in the league, and are beginning to build up a trend of losing big games, having now lost 3 semi-finals and a final since they last won a piece of silverware in 2014. What's changed? Stalwarts Mike Ross, Mike McCarthy and Hayden Triggs all retired after last season, meaning a hefty bit of experience has left the squad. In addition to their 2 high-profile signings, the Irish province have also promoted 7 players from their academy, including prop Andrew Porter and lock James Ryan, 2 to keep an eye on for sure. Leinster lost 2 semi-finals last season, and have lost a considerable amount of important games in recent years in Scott Fardy Brumbies, James Lowe Chiefs. Out Zane Kirchner Dragons, Mike Ross retired, Hayden Triggs retired, Mike McCarthy retired, Dominic Ryan Leicester Tigers. Ulster last season. 5-test finished champions 200,506. What's hot? New signing Jean Dassel proved what he is capable of at Munster last season and should thrive for Ulster, particularly alongside fellow Springbok back row Marcel Coetzee, whose injuries should be behind him. Australia international Christian Leali'ifano has joined on a 5-month deal until January to further bolster an already talented backline, while Ian Henderson returns to camp, having impressed on Lions duty and looks ready to step up. New Ulster signing Jean Dassel illustrated his power and breakdown ability last season with Munster. What's not? The loss of Ruan Pienaar and the situation regarding Paddy Jackson and Stuart Olding. Having spent 7 seasons with Ulster and excelled at almost every turn, scrum half Pienaar was forced to exit the province this summer against his wishes as a result of the succession policy implemented by the IRFU and David Nucifora. His absence will no doubt be keenly felt. Jackson and Olding have been relieved of their duties until the conclusion of a court case involving the pair after they were charged by the Police Service of Northern Ireland (PSNI). What's changed aside from the departures of PNR and the suspensions of Jackson and Olding? There have been several changes to Les Kiss coaching setup, with Neil Doak and Alan Clark leaving the province and replaced by John O'Gibbs as head coach and Dwayne Peel as assistant coach, who joined from Clermont and Bristol respectively. Forward Roger Wilson has retired after making a record 221 appearances for his native province, while it has also been confirmed, a full year in advance, that wing Charles Piutau will leave to join Bristol in the summer of 2018. The 201,718 Ulster season will be the first without Ruin PNR for 8 years. Inns John Cooney Connacht, Christian Lely Farno Brumbies, Jean Daisel Sharks, Schalk van der Merwe Southern Kings. Outs Ruin PNR Montpellier, Roger Wilson retired, Franco van der Merwe Blues, Ricky Lutton released. Edinburgh last season 9 test finish second 200,809 watts hot. Former Leicester Tigers coach Richard Cockrell has joined as head coach, and he could be exactly what the club needs to restart it into gear. As ex-Edinburgh, Glasgow and Scotland second row Al Kellick has acknowledged, "I have met with Richard since he moved up to Edinburgh and he comes across as an outstanding character who is driven and motivated to get the best out of the current group of players at the club." For Leicester Tigers and Toulon coach Richard Cockrell has taken the reins at Edinburgh. What's not? For the last 7 seasons Edinburgh have failed to finish above 8th in the league, a trend which for a club of their size is nearing on unacceptable. It's a run which will see them absent from the European Champions Cup for a 5th season in succession. A result of their form over the last few years is dwindling attendances, and this is something they will hope to rectify. What's changed? Cockrell taking over at the helm is the major change. The club will also host all of their home games this season at Mireside for the entire campaign. If new signing Mark Bennett can avoid injury, he could turn out to be a brilliant addition in the centre. Scotland centre Mark Bennett has joined from Glasgow after an injury-hit few years. Inns Mark Bennett Glasgow Warriors, Robbie Fruet on Bath Rugby, Duhin van der Merwe Montpellier, Daryl Marfo Bath Rugby, Jason Harries London Scottish. Outs Michael Allen retired, Will Helutimi Shuara Saracens, Rory Scholes Connacht, Jack Cosgrove Bristol Rugby, Nasi Manu Bennett in Treviso, George Turner Glasgow Warriors season loan. Dragons last season 11 test finished 3rd. 200,304 watts hot. Ex-Grenoble head coach Bernard Jackman looks an astute appointment, while the signings of Zane Kirchner from Leinster and Gavin Henson from Bristol are more high-profile than the club has previously managed. But Welsh Rugby Union's takeover of the region provides increased stability, particularly from a financial perspective. Former Grenoble coach Bernard Jackman has taken charge at the Dragons. What's not? Losing Tom Priddy to the Scarlets is a major blow, with a versatile fullback one of the most talented Dragons in the squad. An 11th placed finish last season, below Treviso, was also very disappointing for the Dragons, and they have now finished 9th or below for 6 consecutive seasons. Jackman has a lot of work to do. What's changed? Aside from the changes to the playing staff and management mentioned above, the club's name has been changed from Newport Gwent Dragons to the Dragons following their takeover by the Welsh Rugby Union, which was confirmed by Newport RFC shareholders via an 81% resolution yes vote. The WRU has also taken control of the club's stadium Rodney Parade. The Welsh Rugby Union took over the Dragons and their stadium Rodney Parade this summer. In Zane Kirchner Leinster, Gavin Henson Bristol Rugby, Dan Souter Ospreys. Outs Tom Priddy Scarlets, Sean Knight Bath Rugby, Geraint Rhys-Jones Scarlets, Nick Crosswell Manawatu Turbos, Darren Harris Merthyr RFC, Craig Mitchell released. Treviso last season 10 test finished 7th 201,213 watts hot. The signings of fly half Marty Banks from the Highlanders and Maori All Black Fatu Dolgas from the Crusaders look like decent captures, while Treviso have also managed to pinch second row pair Federico Ruzza and Irene Herbst from this year's Pro14 rivals Zebra and the Southern Kings respectively. Italy international Luke McLean has left Treviso for Premiership side London Irish. What's not? Losing international pair Luke McLean and Philo Paolo to London Irish is a negative, while the club head into this season having consistently struggled in the Pro12 for some time. Like fellow Italian side Zebra, Treviso have regularly finished in the bottom 3 throughout their 7-year Pro12 history, finishing above 10th only once in 2013. Kieran Crowley will hope the new league format can bring them some joy. What's changed? Treviso are back in the European Champions Cup for 201,718, having finished above Zebra in last year's table. The format for European qualification has changed from this season, however, and to earn a place in next year's European Cup they will have to finish in the top 4 of Conference B, or lower depending on if the Kings eligible for European competition finish above them. Either way, an improvement in the league form is necessary if they want to continue competing at Europe's top table. Highlanders fly-half Marty Banks has signed for Treviso in an eye-catching transfer. Ins Marty Banks Highlanders, Federico Rozza Zebra, Nasi Manu Edinburgh Rugby Fetu Douglas Crusaders, IRNE Herbst Southern Kings, Sebastian Negri Hartpury RFC, Outs Luke McLean London Irish, Philo Paolo London Irish, Andrea Praticati Amatori Sandona, David Odiete Rovigo Delta, David Giazon Mogliano, Jean-François Montoriol I Medici Firenze. Southern Kings list seasoned 11th in Super Rugby. Best finish 11th in 2017 Super Rugby. What's hot? Highly rated head coach Dion Davids will remain and lead them into the new Pro14, and the 49-year-old has demonstrated an outstanding ability to nurture young talent and unearth talented players. Though it initially appeared the squad was being gutted in terms of player exits, the Kings have recovered to sign a number of players, taking the squad roster to 40 ahead of the campaign. Players such as Andy Nt. Lou Zukoval and Lewin Alshorn Bok, all of whom shone during the most recent Super Rugby season, have also rejoined. Andy Nt. has rejoined the Kings after several magnificent displays of power last season. What's not? A number of other talented players have left, however, with the loss of back 3 pair Malcolm Jer and Makazole Map and Peter fellow Pro14 newbies the Cheetahs particularly hard to take. Flanker Chris Cleat and prop Schalk van der Merwe have also left to join Pro14 rivals Munster and Ulster respectively. The initial signing of Springbok winger Cornel Hendricks, while an obvious punt, had appeared a stroke of genius, but his failing a medical and subsequent removal from the squad is a great pity for the player and club. What's changed? The Kings have bolstered their coaching staff ahead of the start of the Pro14 with the inclusion of South Africa A and Border Bulldogs assistant coach Jumani Booi to David's team as backline coach following Vuyo Zanker's departure to a position in Germany. As well as resigning quality players from last season, the Kings have also added players with Pro12 experience, such as Locke Dries van Schalkwyk and prop Rosso de Klerk. Chris Cleat was one of a number of players to leave the Kings, joining Munster on a 2-year deal. Ins Godlin Maysimla Stormers, Dries van Schalkwyk Zebra, Rosso de Klerk Grenoble, Kurt Coleman Stormers, Sabora Sithole Sharks season loan, Kayo Majula Sharks season loan, Rowan Goose Sharks season loan, Stefan Coetzee Sharks season loan. Outs Lionel Cronia Toyota Verblitz, Schalk van der Merwe Ulster, Chris Cleat Munster, Makazole Map MP Cheetahs, Malcolm Jer Cheetahs, Tyler Paul Sharks, Ross Gelden Huey Sharks, IRNE Herbst Benetton Treviso, Wilhelm van der Slurries Exeter Chiefs, Lewis Schroeder Sharks.